Hello everyone, as you all are aware that Supreme Court has passed the judgment in the All India Judges Association versus Union of India today, 20th of May 2025, that 3 years of practice is going to be mandatory for appearing in the judicial services exams all over India. So if you are targeting any state for which the notification has not been notified yet, for those, this rule is going to be applicable. That means if let's say you want to apply for Punjab, so because the notification has not yet come out, so this 3-year practice is going to be mandatory if you want to apply for that exam. And in case if there is an exam which has already been notified, let's say the Gujarat Judicial was notified, Uttarakhand was notified recently, so for that you can appear even without the practice. But later on, from today afterwards, whatever notification is going to be there for that 3-year practice is a mandatory requirement. There are some questions which are very basic, which I would like to answer. The number one is that from where your practice of 3 years will be counted from. So what is the date from which we will count that yes, this is from where your 3-year practice starts. So the Supreme Court has made it very clear, and I would like to read it. It will be relevant to note that after a candidate receives a provisional registration, he/she is entitled to practice within the state of which the Bar Council has given the said provisional registration. In that view of the matter, we are of the view that the experience should be counted from the date on which the provisional registration has been granted to a candidate. So, very clear, it is the State Bar Council provisional registration. Number one, it is not the district registration that they are talking about. That let's say if there is someone who's from Amritsar, right? So, if they have the registration of Amritsar also, and they have the Bar Council of Punjab and Haryana registration as well. So, the registration that is to be counted is from the provisional registration of the Bar Council of Haryana and not from a district specific. It is the state specific because we get the state registration first. So, the provisional registration from the State Bar Council is from when your 3-year practice will be counted from. Coming on to the next thing, that it's not just that 3 years will pass from your date of provisional registration, then you will be able to appear. No. Another requirement is that in case of a district court, there has to be a certificate provided by the candidate, which will be certificate by an advocate having a minimum standing of 10 years, duly endorsed by a principal judicial officer of such a district or a principal judicial officer at a station, certifying that such a candidate has actually practiced for the requisite number of years. That would take care of the said concern. The concern was that let's say students just after the 3-year period from their provisional registration, they will just apply. So the concern was that this 3-year practice requirement will be infructuous because students will still not go. They will still practice, they will still prepare for 3 years and then appear. So again, they will not have any in-court experience. So for that, it has been mandated that an advocate will firstly give you a certificate which will be further endorsed by a judicial officer. So this is for district. For High Court and for Supreme Court, if you are practicing there, then an advocate who has a minimum standing of 10 years duly endorsed by an officer which will be designated by the High Court or the Supreme Court itself. So there will be a designated officer by the High Court in the High Courts and by the Supreme Court in the Supreme Court itself who is going to give you these certificates, right? So different process for district and different for the district and the different for the High Court and the Supreme Court. And if you have ever served or have been working as a law clerk, then for the time period that you have worked as a law clerk will also be counted in this 3 years. So let's say for 1 year you practiced, you worked as a law clerk. Then for further 2 years you practiced, right? So this will make 3 years. So this 1-year law clerkship will be counted as in practice. Alright, so these are the things which I felt that are important to be answered because there was a lot of confusion that ki state bar the registration hai ya fir the district bar the registration hai. So it's the state bar registration.